Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Fresman, and let's continue on with some Hades 2. It's been a while. It has definitely been a while since we played. What do we want to do with this? Yeah, golden apples are things I gotta go into collecting as well. So, from what I remember, we managed to actually complete down a lot of different things.
This one.
Yeah, let's just try this and we'll make our move. But yeah, we managed to finally beat Eris, which is really annoying. And basically got to a point where, really, they almost defeat Eris again. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're going down. We are going down. And if we have to go down, do I just want to take the staff with me and just get like 2 modifiers on? First having more health is fine, I think. More foes is fine. And that's fine. Yeah. That's all good, and then we'll take the staff. That is the plan here. And do we want to upgrade the staff? After you do 12 attacks or special, it gains damage. Ah, interesting. Could be cool. But nah, we'll keep the standard, or decent upgraded version of the staff, and then we'll move on. And do I want to keep? This is what I mean now, because we're trying to do a challenge run in a way. Do you want to change what we're picking up? Just for Aphrodite, might as well. Let's do that. Let's go.
I will not fail.
Last time you made a real difference here, you know. I shouldn't be surprised, and yet a single goddess doing so much work? You're quite the inspiration, love. And terrifying, too.
Attack steal more close to nearby foes. That is kind of exactly what we want. We'll upgrade that and move on.
Wow.
Because that is the way we want to go with the staff, in my opinion. Always will be. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I did kind of upload a challenge run of the standard Hades, which we're going to try and do for a lot of stuff, which is a one god challenge. Where essentially we only take boons and blessings from one particular god at a time. A lot easier in that game, in my opinion, to do than I think in Hades 2.
Who's next?
But yeah, I'll let you see what happened in that one, because it is interesting to see the differences in the game style.
Aphrodite's power over beauty provides no shortage of entertainment, I'm sure. Though I fail to see how her blessing can be of much benefit in such a predicament as ours.
That's mean. Alpha attack still more damage, but uses that. Sprint Cyclone. Take the cast Cyclone. This doesn't affect anything else. And guess I'll move on to take more Psyche. But yeah. So I kind of enjoyed doing that run. It was kind of nice to do something a little bit different with the standard Hades and make the game more difficult than what I was already suffering from in some cases. It's one thing I've always turned around and said, is like, I am not amazing at games or like anything like that at all. I am just your average guy trying to do his best. And that is pretty much it.
I'll send you to your graves.
Because it is very difficult, I will say. To really think about
I draw you down, O moon. Lend me your light.
The Titan Kronos. He is time itself. Thus, by his nature, we can never be entirely prepared for him. He seeks the downfall of Olympus. But how exactly, we still do not know. Behold.
Hex, Morph. The Morph is just not really that great, in my opinion. After 4 seconds... that makes me move. I'll take that for 1,000 after 4 seconds. Maybe we can get something really good out of it. I'll take the Hephaestus bonus. Because that can be really good. But yeah. It's kind of more entertaining that way. Like to kind of set yourself up to do all sorts of like challenges or to make things more difficult, but...
Done.
I take back everything I said about your weapon first we met. In my defense, I often see workmanship superior to mine. Though don't go telling anyone I said as much.
Yeah, how dare you? Cast deals 3... Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Or priming to get some armor is interesting as well. I mean, the cast is actually pretty good. I will take that. Especially a rare as well. But yeah. Like, I just try and enjoy the games I play, because I think that's the best way to kind of go about it. I know it can be very difficult, especially with the way games are designed like this day and age. They're not as easy as they could be. As much as I wish they were. Nah, I was watching a video, a discussion on basically how basically it was over an article kind of, I think it was released a very few months back. It was an article basically just about how kind of like game reviewers and everything else as well kind of get the short end of the stick or whatever, and you know, stuff like that. And it was kind of the thing that I remember being as a kid, and my literacy skills
Why not?
are, let's say, mediocre at best. Even back then, they weren't that great.
Cold? Some seeds.
To make the most of our arrangement, I need you activate a certain artifact where you reside. Within the pitch-black facets of this standing stone are possibilities to be explored. I shall reveal how to see them all, but first...
That does seem viable.
Nice. Cannot earn gold for a bit, and then I just get more health. I can't base that, and I get better boons, which is after 5 encounters. Using my attack, my attack gets increased. I would like that, but we'll take the Fixate Favor for now. That's the way to go forwards. So, yeah, like, my English skills were never that great, so I had to take up, like, extra English classes and stuff just to kind of keep me up to speed. That's not to say that my understanding of English is terrible, just more of, like, how I articulate things was never that great. You know, which for me as a kid was kind of embarrassing, but, you know, I got over that. I realised, you know, it's not the be-all or end-all. You know, I have my own advantages in other areas, and I was kind of, you know, get over it. But anyway, I digress. So, the reason I kind of brought that up was the fact that I kind of had to learn a lot of things, like, from scratch again. It's going to take money. And these things I had to learn were things that kind of I was meant to either expected to know,
Stay where you are.
or stuff that kind of had to be
Now then.
learnt at specific ages, which I obviously didn't learn, or for whatever reason was knowledge that was not passed to me. And one of the basic forms of that is when you write something, there is a reason why you're writing it, right? You either are writing to inform or writing to entertain. Is kind of like the two basic types of writing in most cases, yeah? So, what do you think, like, games journalism, any form of journalism, comes under? Yeah? The basics of that is you write to inform. Specials are faster, interesting. Ooh. I'll take the rapid moonshot, actually.
Such secrets in this stuff.
And I guess we're in shop here. So now we know that, like, games journalists and everything else is always writing to inform.
I did encounter her, my lord, and I think the fate Seleni's light is visible in Erebus, for I know she cannot shine much farther past the edge of this realm.
My
You
question
as well.
to basically go on top of that.
Again, good niece. Although presumably you must have known, as likely all the unmarked packaging concealing this boon was soaked all the way through.
I like that. Never use an alpha move, create a water ray blast near you. That's just pretty good, actually. I would like that, but yeah. If you claim a copy map here, 20% for double up. No, we'll just take that. Plus it
The
gets
tides come in.
the bonuses there. Let's move on and we'll talk about what I will be doing the boss.
I was beginning to think you had grown so fond of the surface that you would not be coming back here anytime soon.
Oh, you miss me.
Our task takes me to the very ends of the earth. I have unfinished business there as well as here. I'm much more comfortable in these environs, though.
Comfortable? You should be fully on your guard and braced for battle. Let's see how comfortable this is for both of us.
But yeah, so as back to the previous discussion. So you're either writing to inform or to entertain. So what like we will probably say the game journalism is probably a mixture of, you know, the writing to inform is probably the main priority of it. It does have to write to entertain as well, because otherwise it probably wouldn't drag anyone's attention, right? And here is kind of the issue that has come up, right?
Return to dust.
So I've got a form of journalism that I need to grab people's attention with to spread information across. But the issue is I got to make it entertaining enough for people to pay attention to it too. So there's a kind of a catch-22 with this whole writing to inform, because if I write to inform, I technically am not entertaining, and no one's going to want to read that stuff in the first place. So then I have to appeal to an audience. Now, how do I appeal to an audience? I appeal to people that are sane-minded, or essentially people that are like me, because I know what people like me want, because I am like me. And this is also then part of the issue that ends up coming with games journalism, any form of journalism, is there tends to be this agenda that person then will want to push forward while they're also trying to do their writing to inform. Yeah, so in this point they're doing, you know, a writing to persuade rather than actually a right to inform, and it's not a games journalism's like a journalism gamer's job. Games journalist, whatever you want to call them, it isn't their job to persuade you to go and buy a game. And I think they've kind of lost sight of that as a basic form of knowledge. it's because they were like so at one point so heavily respected that whatever they said.
The shadows hence. Trust that your eve is only beginning.
Cool, that's done. So yeah, they would end up just be saying as it would be, like, you know, they were well trusted, they were well respected, and suddenly, you know, they had the ability to essentially push
One would help.
whatever they wanted to.
Please
I'll do
take
that.
your time.
I will, thank you.
You cannot help the gods above you now. My legions are vast, and death means little to them anymore. Not that your efforts here shall be of much consequence either.
Your surface legions fight and die for you, yet you hide behind them here. If you're so certain of your victory, you'd be leading them.
Leadership, my girl, is not about having to do everything oneself. It is about ensuring others share your same ideals and methodology. Wherever you may go, you shall encounter many who embrace my point of view, I think.
No shortage of fools.
I didn't want that conversation to kind of prove my point in what I was trying to describe, but
Alright.
that kind of actually did in a funny way as well. The notion of the fact that if anyone disagree with you is an idiot or is some ism or some you know, those sort of things, and it's not the way everyone thinks. That's the worst part about it. It's like it's always been the issue with the Twitter echo chamber, and again, it's the problem with the fact that, you know, we have this ability to communicate over vast distances with many other people, find like-minded individuals, and thus kind of bring forward those ideas as a group together, which, for good or bad, does tend to reinforce ideals, whether they are correct or not.
Ash of the dead.
It's like, it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, but it definitely, the way things are going at the moment, it doesn't seem to reflect the ways you want to represent stuff as it stands at the moment.
Too hot for you?
So anyway, about this, like the specifics on game journalism and stuff like that. So, yeah, at one point, you probably say like, okay, so I have the ability to basically inform people of such to say, go out and buy this game because it's really, really good. Then what ends up happening is to say a company realizes, oh, you spoke about our game and you rated it really well, so suddenly loads of people went out and bought our game. You know what? I'll give you some money and I'll give you some perks and benefits to go and talk about my other game that I've developed and rate it really well.
Yeah, I guess. Again. Oh, it's you again. Look, I want you to leave me alone, okay? Because I'm in a state of grief, and the only one I want to see me that way is me.
State of grief? Wait. What's with the water here? It's gone all murky or something. Oh no, you can't see a reflection anymore.
Don't need to rub it in, dummy. Not like you can do something about it anyway. A lot of things turn ugly after a while, so please excuse me while I mourn for what I've lost.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, health up and bones. Do we take that in gold? Oh, we'll just take that. The standard stuff.
Thanks.
And bones are useful. So yeah, so like someone goes over and goes, oh, okay, so I can persuade these people to basically go and buy this game, and I'll put a review up on saying how great the game is. Now the game could be really good, or it could be absolutely terrible, we don't know yet, and to this kind of argument, we'll go both through kind of both ways. This is no way kind of defending games journalism, but it kind of explains to a certain point on how this stuff actually came about in the way it has done. So yeah, I do a game review, it goes pretty well, lots of people kind of, you know, appreciate the game review, they went and bought the game out on my recommendation that, you know, the game is really good and, you know, they should buy the game because of that. and the game then increases in sales because of that recommendation. So the games company and the publishers decide to go, okay, so this person rated our game really well. We then got a bunch of money. Why don't we get them to review another one of our games?
We could never make her stay away for good. To think she's one of Nix's many pups. Squeeze out a big litter like that, you're liable to get a runt.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, special inflicting scorch is what I want. We'll upgrade that as well. And there we go. Ah, we can get some more upgrades straight away on that. Let's do it. Oh, for free also. My attack's doing more damage, because that's actually pretty good. Or the cast. Do the cast, why not?
Alright. Cattail seeds.
So yeah, you've got that kind of issue on basically kind of so they recommend a game and they go okay, so we get benefits if we recommend the game really well. And then they go, okay, so why don't we just recommend, you know, more games? And they get trusted, they get feedback on the fact they really get really good games. They've kind of done this for a while now because they've been doing it by themselves or different ways. But then, yeah, a company will come up to them and say, look, we got a game, we want you to review it. But we don't want you to say any negative things about it. So then there's like the sort of like control of the media, right? And despite what everyone thinks, you know, we are all human at the end of the day, and if someone offers me money to do something, depending on how much money that is, I will probably do it. You know, I would love to sit there and say that I've got a conscience or stuff like that, but I don't think there is anything in this world that I probably couldn't put a price tag to. The price tag might be ridiculous, just gonna say, but there is a price tag attached to it. And I think that's what you've then got to realise is, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, main things I end up doing, I either do them because at the end of the day, I earn money from it, or because I want recognition for something, essentially. And those are kind of like the two other aspects of humans as general, is the fact that, you know, I either need to live or I kind of want to be popular, essentially. Very simplistic terms, but, you know, most modern day human psychology is probably not as complicated as we would like to make it out to be anymore. Let's go shop. Buy that. Gale Force.
Should be resting easy in your father's care, but Gramps shut it all down, flung open the underworld's gates, and here we are. If I were dead, I'd be mad too.
That's really good. Like, got a 50% bonus to my cast, basically, on that.
Be safe, Lord Charon.
Interesting. Let's see how this goes.
Yes. Oh, hey, lady. We've been practicing. You want to hear our latest jam?
I'm sorry to say, girls, but your songs are, like, completely already in my head, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I listen to them at least, like, a handful of times a week. Which kind of makes it absolutely hilarious that, you know, you got sirens and music and stuff ahead. But anyway, so yeah, back to the whole games journalism issue and stuff. So yeah, like, there is a limit on to, like, you know, I gotta pay my bills, I gotta do everything else as well. Same for games journalism, stuff like that. I gotta pay to keep the lights on in a business and, you know, a company, and there's no way to get around that sort of stuff, even if you really wanted to. Yeah? So, okay, so games companies will probably take, let's just say, some side benefits. I guess we'll call them that for now, because I think that's probably the best way. But essentially they are bribes. No way getting about it. It's part of the whole political corruption, but they wouldn't have come across that way straight away, because there are no laws really against it. At least not in the sense that we're probably thinking currently. So yeah, so basically then you have games companies that have been around for a fair amount of time. They suddenly start taking some extra benefits to review games where they weren't before, because they got to keep the lights on and stuff like that. It gives them extra money. In some cases it's a necessity to keep them functioning. So essentially they rely on this as a form of income to support themselves as well as other people within the business that they all work for. Other people just like having the extra power and the stuff like that, and the fact they can get away with it because, you know, there are those people that love the political corruption. Never going to deny that, both sides of it. So, now this probably doesn't make much of a difference to begin with, like how reviewing and everything else goes, because, you know, it's all down to personal preference, taste, so on and so forth. So, you know, that games company released a really bad review of one game that I thought was absolutely terrible. You know, maybe I just don't get it and stuff, and the benefit of the doubt was always something that you could give someone because they had such a good proven track record, and you couldn't really say, oh yeah, no, they got that wrong. It's like, they got it wrong, but there must just, you know, there could be reasons why. I see why they, you know, I see why they said what they said, kind of thing. Let's have a look. What do we want to take with us this time round? I want to get like upgrades to all of these, but like I don't think any of them. Let's hit the Hephaestus one actually. That seems fine. And just give me some of that. So yeah, so after like a few, you know, other bunch of reviews that come out of games that were rated highly but were not interesting because they were being paid to give, I wouldn't say good reviews, I would say not as harsh reviews. Yeah? So we're still in the idea they're writing to inform. Yeah? So we continue on this path of writing to inform and everything else as well, and that's what people are mainly doing still. It gets harder and harder because more people want a piece of that pie and stuff, you know. They want to have more input, and other places realize the sway that essentially game reviewers have on what people end up buying and purchasing and do and thinking and stuff like that, because it's not that hard to figure that out. You know, if I release a really good review on a game or something like that, and then, you know, 100 extra people go and buy a game, like, you're gonna feel some level of you know, ego-ness, shall we say. Don't really want to do that. That sounds terrible. I wish this was, but the fixed gain seems really ridiculous, right? As an ability, like I take damage and then restore mana, because you've got no way of healing. But unless it like converted the, you know, some of that into armor or something. Do we want to go impervious? That's kind of pointless. Trusty shield and upgrade. I can't upgrade it. Take the trusty shield then. Some fixed defense is going to be useful. So yeah, we go down that route, and then like, you know, other individuals realize the fact that, oh look, and like, you know, I noticed that loads of people went and bought this game because these people recommended it, and then, you know, maybe I could use that to my advantage to, you know, persuade people to do other things and stuff like that, or have a particular viewpoint and stuff. And that's not new through the nefarious intentions, but it's the idea of the fact that people want to inform people of something that essentially is not even a part of the thing they're trying to inform. And that's kind of like what the basics we are at the moment. So
You shouldn't have crossed me.
currently we're stuck in this phase where we've got, or we had, a fair number of viewers that, you know, are still pretty good at their jobs and they do well and everything else as well. And then we got the minority, which in most cases are just the people looking for clout or just basically want to collect their paycheck and doing a very bad job at it, but don't get fired because they've either been in the industry for ages or because they got some sort of immunity in some way, shape or form that is questionable at best. And then, like, everything I've all discussed here, like, I haven't even, like, targeted anyone in particular, really. It's more of a generalized term. So I want you to kind of get that across first. Like, this is all sort of just general bits of information gleaned from how stuff has happened and kind of the expectation on why it's happened as well. Like, it kind of all makes sense on why this happened. That way, are people trying to take advantage
I should be able to get out, I think.
of a situation that they realize, oh, look, people are, you know, listening to this stuff. They are, you know, I could use that to my advantage. I could do this. I could do partnerships. I could do that, you know, and, you know, it's simple as like, oh, this thing's really popular. Let's put an advert for our product on it. Like, essentially, that's where it's all come from. This idea, the fact that, oh, we could make money by doing this. And it still happens consistently at the moment. Let's go face this mini-boss. Get a higher rated boon.
Out of the way, Phantom.
So now we've got, like, say, like, all that stuff, like, you know, the usual annoyance I picked up on. Of just like, oh, this is more just general stuff. Like, we could go into more targeted aspects, but I think that's kind of pointless. But let's just talk into the simplest one, which is the writing ability.
No blood where you're going.
So this is going to come off very harsh, but let's just say I have 2 years worth of experience doing freelance reviewing and stuff, so I am not like not a part of that industry, and it's not that I don't understand how it works. I do have some information, but it's not full information. Is it 2 years? It's probably 2 or 3 years.
I spoke with Narcissus again. I'm certain that he really wants what's best for you. How could he not? Among the countless souls here, you're so generous and sweet.
So generous and sweet, and sweet, and sweet.
Yeah, we'll take the Hephaestus. Oh, yeah, the Hephaestus spoon again. Let's go.
Be strong, okay?
Be strong, strong,
And we gained some armor straight off the bat. That's actually pretty good.
My silver's come alive.
And yep, we'll go with the Daedalus hammer again. I just want to see if I get anything interesting with this stuff. So yeah, the writing ability of people that do game reviewing is not highly critiqued as compared to other forms of industry where it comes to reviewing a product or reviewing stuff in general. There is a reason for this. Because we don't really care as gamers if someone articulates themselves very well. As long as they get their general point across, we can kind of infer the rest of the information, and all I need to know is the game worth buying?
Better.
Yes or no. It's kind of a very simple yes and no question, yes or no answer, and anything else is just extra fluff that you add into it on whatever basis.
Nemesis.
Stand back, or else. Once we're done here, one of us gets richer and one of us gets poorer.
I still stand by. I don't like the fact that.
Come on then.
I still don't like the fact that she can just come over here and just take all my stuff.
Weak.
So yeah, so we argue on the idea of small amount of individualness and everything else as well. That's absolutely fine. Of like, you know, people that, but I don't believe people's writing skill within the industry had to develop to a point where, you know, they were any good at what they were doing or articulating anything else as well, which means that the let's just say their ability to persuade others went down. Ah, I just lost, so I lose 100 gold for that.
I failed.
That's not fair. I still stand by that. Alpha attack. Attacks are faster. Let's do that.
One more left.
Special's the way you want to go. Because now they bounce, which is going to be kind of cool, which means they all still inflict the scorch, which is kind of cool as well. Like, I say now, because like I had to have extra lessons just to learn how to write in the first place and how to do English. Like, my English and literary skills are not amazing, and it took me up until university to understand even some of the basic principles that most writers these days will know from like the moment they started writing. I'm not saying these people can't learn it, but I'm saying that I know my skills weren't up to par, and I managed to get a freelance job in the industry.
Clear.
You know, use that as an example of why I believe kind of like the writing level never really improved. And it didn't need to either, like it generally doesn't. I don't want to start off charge, that's pointless. But I gotta go that way anyway at some point. Because I forget to use it anyway. And I got nothing I can buy in the shop, so I guess we are just going to take this. Actually, she stole my money. And in fact, I do need like more mana, and I got no mana regen either, so that's another worry.
I'm sorry, but I have to get through.
So yeah, you can argue over many different things when it comes down to. They shut that down because that looks really easy to dodge now. Over all sorts of things when it comes to like the game industry and stuff like that, but the arguments are like you got a bunch of people that probably are looking for nowadays, not a lot. Actually, got a few people that are looking essentially to put forward their own ideas. That can't write really good reviews or articulate themselves very well either. They're in industry because they got no other choice but to get paid. They're probably also taking minor handouts because otherwise they can't pay their bills at the end of the week. You're seeing how this environment doesn't seem like a very good environment, right? Let alone if you are one of the good ones. You know, one of the many good game reviewers out there that are able to hold on to their integrity and do produce very good reviews and stuff like that. So say that you are one of those people and you do good stuff. Does that good stuff actually bring in money when the negativity around that environment is so bad? Yeah. and the fact that you get the backlash from all the people that are doing all the things that they're doing, and so on and so forth, and yeah. It doesn't come off very well. And then you can see why in some cases then, say, COs and stuff just kind of are starting to think that these people are not worth the money and time, especially when they could employ a handful of other people to do the job as well, and they're just as equally as bad at it as the other ones that are doing a good job because the results are the same. And it's kind of like almost like a negative bias in a way. You see no improvement from a good reviewer to a bad reviewer because the negative opinions on both are exactly the same. So even though that one is a well-written review, because it comes attached to a particular reviewing company that's now got a negative PR stint, shall we say, because of all the bad stuff they did, or because of the fact that they haven't been listening, or you can kind of get the reasoning behind why the industry seems to generate, because there was no benefit for you producing good work, and there was even less of a benefit, less of a disadvantage for you producing bad work. So when there's no incentive to you producing high level of work, or, you know, essentially doing your job well, you can kind of see why the industry starts to deteriorate over time.
You shades, leave him alone.
I mean, nowadays the industry probably...
For the moment, fearsome Cerberus gives the princess an appreciative look.
Oh, bless. Hopefully he'll let me cuddle him. Give him a pat. He needs to be told he's a good boy, really.
Now be at peace again.
But yeah, I mean, the industry is kind of all over the place, and like you can argue on both sides for it. As for what the industry and what it was meant to represent in comparative to now stands, I'm sorry, I've got to go with the gamers on this one, and myself as well. Like, trust is not given, it's earned. Yeah?
Should work.
And I think that kind of needs to be brought across. Nah, I probably won't get there in 6 deals, so it's kind of pointless. And I think, like, it was a thing that even I learned as a kid, was the fact that I had to earn my parents' trust and respect and everything else as well. It was not just given to me on a plate. And then when I broke that trust and basically ruined it, I had to rebuild that up again.
We have not seen you.
And I know it sounds horrible for like the good journalists out there that do work hard, that do produce really good work and everything else as well, because yeah, when your work doesn't get recognized because of a select minority, it is such a horrible feeling. And then what's worse, somehow you get punished for it because of the idiotic things they did, but yet they don't seem to get punished. See it every day, in every industry. There's always one like it. Like, you can't get away from it no matter how hard you try. Unfortunately, and there's no way to fix that other than to just keep producing good work. I'm having some frame skips. And it's a horrible thing to realise that, oh yeah, you just need to work harder, and the fact that a few select few kind of ruined it, which is then why the people that were doing decent work suddenly aren't doing decent work anymore, because there's no punishment for not doing decent work.
The house shall go unpunished.
And they're not going to reclaim any form of honor as such or trust in the way that the industry is going currently. Like, it just isn't, because instead of, say, people being like, okay, yeah, I can see why you wouldn't trust us, they're like, oh, they don't trust us because of this, or oh, because of that. It's kind of like, it's all a blame game. It's always someone else's fault. It's, you know. The problem is you didn't listen to us. You know? It's this idea that you end up... Ooh. I am getting some really weird frame drops. And you got audio drop there. That was a nightmare. It is the fact that pretty much every... It's pretty much how your parents probably used to talk to you at one point when you didn't know anything or didn't know any better. You know, it's the whole do as I say, not as I do type scenario, and... It is a horrible feeling to realise that... Oh, we get to see Hades again. Will you let me pet him? Oh.
Okay.
The multi-headed monster keeps his fury well in check, beside the rightful underworld king.
Oh, this room is where Baldy is. Got a bit of a redesign. Interesting.
I cannot believe that I'm asking, but how fares Olympus in all this? Even trapped within this chamber, it is evident to me that the Titan legions are at war.
The surface swarms with the dead, and the armies of Kronos are besieging the mountain. Our family is holding them back. I've been trying to break the stalemate in their favor, but all in all, it's not a pretty sight up there right now.
Not a pretty sight up there? You mean to say you've seen all this firsthand? How?
You mean our birthright? Would you believe I learned a means by which I could withstand the surface climate for a while? Long enough to make a difference up there. Or to try.
Impossible. Yet seemingly all these impossibilities continue to occur. So you must vanquish the Titan, as well as come to the rescue of Olympus. How utterly absurd that you are burdened with all that.
At least someone gets it. Taking some of his life away, kind of irrelevant. I mean, the fight goes on for the same as it. We'll take Unseen Ire. I think that's more useful. That way, if I do take damage, I get at least something out of it in return. Oh, I should have given him a gift if I could. I didn't check that. But yeah, so... It is kind of like a, it's almost like a sinking ship as well with the whole industry and stuff. Like, it's never going to get any better. It never wants to get any better, and they're treating everyone that doesn't agree with them like children that don't know any better. You know, there's no sort of sense of apology. There's no sense of transparency either, which is the really big thing, which I think gets a lot of us when you really think about it. You know, it's almost like you know, like on YouTube, if you've ever noticed that, you know, there is a thing I have to tick if ever, it's never going to happen with me. 100% it'll never happen. But if I end up putting any sort of like sponsorship or stuff like that on this, I have to tick that to specify that there is a sponsorship. Yeah.
Just a few chambers left.
In reviewing, there's no such thing as that. They don't have to declare that in regards to how they present themselves, because they present themselves as an independent. Yeah? So if I wasn't, say, putting these videos up on YouTube, I could do whatever I want within reason. Legal reasons, but I wouldn't have to abide by some other particular set of rules or regulations other than what is legally required of me in just a normal sense of the law. Which is kind of a big deal when you think about it like that. So there's nothing really stopping most of these game reviewers really doing whatever they want, because they can put as many videos up on other sites as they want because they can claim the money back elsewhere. There's no, again, repercussion for their actions. I will say though, I am I still stand by the statement of the fact that in the end, like, they end up treating a lot of people just like babies and kids, really, which is not really when you know for a fact that your entire industry and your paychecks are signed by the people that are supposedly meant to be buying these games. Like, I generally don't even trust a single review site anymore because of that fact. You know, and I wouldn't even trust my own review either, really. Is something a good game? Is it not a good game? That's pretty much as simple as you're going to get from me. Unless I actually write proper reviews again. I think someone asked me about Hades 2 in this game. And like, oh, what would I rate out of 10? I wouldn't rate it out of 10. It's either a 0 or a 10. Like, it's simple as that. It literally is as simple as that. And this game is a good game, even with the standards of what it's set up at the moment and the balancing and stuff that's still got ongoing. The fact the game isn't even fully finished and I still rate it a good game is a testament to both how good this game is and the effort that's been put in by the developers.
Stay where you are.
You know? It's that moment that not only have the developers probably spent time and effort into just like looking at the gameplay, looking at the mechanics of it, looking at the story, looking at the environments, all these little things end up adding up, and it might be like really small and like insignificant, but it makes a massive difference across the whole game.
The house shall go unpunished.
And it's knowing that these things actually have a difference.
Frenos, do your thing.
That's why I think like this game is so good as it is, because I can see the effort that went into it, and it is rewarded for that. Does that necessarily mean that, you know, there are bad games that I will say are bad games out there? There are. There are, but there are also games out there that I will say are good games. They might not be great games, they'll not be amazing, you know, but they're still alright. Like Flintlock, I think, you know, as it is, the game itself is not bad. It's not great.
We meet again, my girl. You have been busy on the surface, have you not? Paid witness to indomitable fleets that sail toward inevitable victory and the destruction of the mountain of the gods.
The only fleet I saw up there was a ramshackle mess whose crew could barely stand, much less put up a fight. No wonder you have failed to take Olympus yet.
My fleets may not be to your standards, girl, but they have one important characteristic which the gods all sorely lack. They are loyal to me to the end, whichever end I deem.
Ah, yes. So yeah, there is a... As I said, like, the Flintlock game is not a bad game. It's not a great game either. Is it an alright game? Yeah, if I was to sit there and had to rate it, like, out of 10 or whatever, like, I'd probably give it, like, a 6 to a 7, which... If you're going by, by one... reviewers idea of what that means, they're probably rating it like a 9. But that's beside the point. Like, that's the other issue in game reviewing, is the fact that what value does your opinion have if your opinion is not able to hold the same weight of value? Yeah. like, so I probably articulating that wrong as well. Not be the way to describe it. I took it there. It's probably more like just like the goal lines have got skewed, yeah. For nowadays, if you, I don't mind saying it, if a review comes out up on IGN that's a 7 out of 10, I know the game's mediocre. You know? And if they release anything that is less than that, I know they weren't paid by them. No, that's kind of mean. But it is true. I'll learn how to dodge that. But yeah, there are questionable things in any practice like that where I still take damage from that every single time. You know, where I will say it, like, it is ridiculous in any sense of the word that a games company, on average, will release reviews that always seem to be like 7 out of 10. If every game you ever review is 7 out of 10, why are you reviewing games? You know? At least that's what I would end up questioning. Ah, really? I took so many hits from that. And great, he's against the wall for this bit. But it is kind of the thing I will point out. And it's not like it's like that, like it's not that a hard thing to correct, right? Like that's the most idiotic thing about it. But yeah, because you've got that skewed scale now, where every game seems to be always a 7 out of 10, it's like, well, if every game's a 7 out of 10, like, which one do I buy? You know, I have a limited income, I can't buy every game, I don't own every console. So where should I spend my money, right? Okay, it's a very simple question.
You wretched child. Like father, like daughter, then is it? This ends now.
Can we get another kill on him, is the question. But yeah, it's interesting to think about that. That's another hit. We're down to a last one. I had to get hit there, that was annoying. But yeah. Okay, it's never going to change because the industry itself doesn't want to improve. Oh, I took the other one there. I really should be careful. And that's all what it comes down to, really. It's like, does the industry actually want to improve? I actually took a hit there as well. I played that awfully at the end.
What did you hope you would accomplish here?
It wasn't a bad run, actually. Did quite well with that. I could have done better, though.
Again.
Got to learn how to play better.
Interesting. So it is written.
Nice. Get to pick that up.
And so I say, begone, accursed witch. I have occupied this grove for eons, long before your pitiable tent came to rest upon it.
Oh, hey, Mel. I see the two of you have met. Lord Moros. Dora speaks the truth as always. She's been here longer than I have, if you can believe it.
I can indeed, for I know an old soul when I see one. It's a pleasure to meet you, Dora. Do let me know if I can be of service in some way.
Get on it, Horns. Now then, I bid your leave. Farewell.
Farewell.
What are you looking at?
Yay, more trash for me to pick up. The trash is more useful than Eris.
I don't get you people, honestly. So set on making things the way they used to be. You, especially. You don't even know what you're missing. We're trying to set things right, not make them how they used to be. Though, what's your point, Eris? What's my point? What's your point? All of you are so obsessed with there being a point to everything. You do know there isn't one, don't you? Can't just let loose and have a good time? Not under the present circumstances, no.
Some of the things are always fun and entertaining.
Through the knowledge of almighty chaos, I can see into the void.
Yeah, let's do that.
Temperature looks good. As ancient chaos beckoned me to say, awake, O monument of night, I shall obey.
Carefully said.
And that will unlock something
So
interesting.
might it be.
We'll have a look at that as well. We'll show it off.
You are required at your post, Nemesis. Or shall you take to openly defying me just as your sister does? I shudder to think what your mother would say of you two.
You have no right to invoke my mother. None of this would be happening had you fulfilled your role as handmaiden and warned her an attack was imminent.
Best watch your mouth or I shall seal it shut. You may continue dwelling on a past you were not witness to, or you may do what is expected of Nyx's daughters. Or whatever Eris is up to. Your choice.
Bad blood going on there. No, I still haven't got that unlocked yet. Always buy the nectar. We should use those bath salts at some point.
Greetings.
Hey, where'd Hecuba and Garly scamper off to? I'd ask Headmistress, but she doesn't like it when I show even the slightest concern for her familiars. They're fine, Melinoe.
Well, they probably are fine. Each on a little scouting expedition at my own behest, under the auspices of the Good Witch, of course. The Hound goes one way, the Polecat another.
Those little scouting expeditions always seem to last a while. I'll have to keep an eye out for them then.
Where they're going, they shall appreciate seeing a
Adequate.
friendly face.
That is interesting if we can actually find whatever they are. Mandrake seeds, let's plant those.
What have we there?
Some new types of seeds.
Into the earth you go.
And I don't have any onion seeds, do I? Let's go to the nightshade then. I'll end up probably selling those later at some point, but now we should have Search of Fresh Air. Shrine of Hermes to appear in the space between each region.
As the three fates would have it, so shall I.
There.
No idea what that's going to do. But we shall find out eventually.
Oh.
What sorcery has touched the pitch black stone?
So this is the thing we've unlocked, so let's have a look at it. So I did this on stream actually a while ago. So now you've seen the pitch black stone revealing Chaos Trials, an influence on reality, considering the Chaos Trials are an alternative option to pursue your task. Each trial equips you with a certain loadout, and your previous loadout is always restored in your turn. So you will not find the most suitable resources on your way. Celestial Stardust into the cauldron to bring more powerful resources, and that you unlock the potential of your arcane cards or bond with animal familiars. So Chaos Trials are basically just trials for me to complete and go through, and we might do some of those where it's just like literally just do the zone with the given restrictions as such, and we'll probably do those. Sorry there, we got a little bit cut out when we joined it. So yeah, we got the Chaos Trials here. Basically, they will allow us to complete the tasks, to do stuff there as well, which will be kind of useful, and we get to unlock other stuff as well, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, we'll leave that probably for next time, and we'll go through and run through with them all. But anyway, if you do enjoy these videos, do leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.